I took this photo of Greg Long pretty early on in my surf photography career. I started shooting landscapes a little bit before I transitioned into shooting more surf. I tended to gravitate towards really pulled back and kind of like a landscape photo with a small amount of surfing. And this trip to Ireland, I didn't really have a game plan, but when we saw Aileens at crazy size, all I wanted to do was get on a jet ski. Well, I'd never been to Ireland. I didn't know Greg Long or Twiggy, who were the two surfers that were there. I didn't know Tom Lowe or Fergal Smith, who were the local guys. I didn't really know anyone, so getting on a ski was not an option. I just happened to be in Ireland when there was a really good swell. The goal wasn't to shoot surf photos, but I had all my gear. So this day was rainy, snowy, kind of just out of control for most of the day until about the last 2 hours of sunlight. And just as a lot of times it does, the waves cleaned up, the light got better. The cliffs of Moher are one of the more impressive natural landscapes just by themselves, and then you insert this wave that is a perfect slab and can hold 30-foot waves. It seems like it's not real. You walk to the edge of the cliffs, they're 700 feet tall, and all of a sudden, a perfect reef break. And so I figured, since I wasn't able to be on a ski, and I was kind of too lazy maybe to walk all the way down 700 feet to like a water angle, which I wouldn't even know if it would look, how it would look, I decided that I would pretty much shoot it exactly like how I was watching it from the cliff edge. Kind of like you would if you just stumbled upon it on a car, which is more or less kind of how it happened for me. So, but it ended up being one of my favorite photos from the trip. And since this was early on in my career, it was one of the first photos that got used in like a prominent manner. I remember Grant was making selections for an Ireland piece, and I submitted this photo to him and a few others and didn't think twice about anything. I submitted photos before with like not that much luck, and so I didn't get much traction, so I was like, I didn't really expect anything of it. I ended up getting the big issue in the Mail, and they did an entire feature on Ireland. Every single photo in there was Mickey Smith, who's an amazing photographer from that region. The whole article was Mickey, except the opening spread was this photo. I almost felt guilty because I was like, oh man, like I didn't want to step on Mickey's toes because I met him while I was there, and he's like friends with all the guys that I ended up being friends with. But it was a huge honor, and it was kind of one of those moments that like reinforces like, oh, like the way that I went about shooting this photo, like it worked. You know, sometimes you shoot a photo and you think it's good, and then it doesn't really get the feedback that you maybe feel about it. You know, you think it's good, you think that it's gonna win over like a viewer, and then it just kind of no one sees it the way you saw it. And so this was one of those photos and kind of the style of shooting that ended up getting the type of feedback that I was hoping for.